Alright, so we're getting pretty close to, ArtFight starting. We have it's May now, then we have June, then we have July. And so I know a lot of people are starting to prep and everything, especially a couple first-timers that I think is really cool. And so I guess I kind of wanted to share a couple of my pre-ArtFight things that I've come to do recently. I've participated in ArtFight since 2021 with Cyberpunk versus Steampunk. And here's just a bunch of things that I do before ArtFight begins. If you want to find some cool personalization stuff that I've been doing recently, I've done a whole video on just ways to spice up your characters' descriptions, animated thumbnails, all that really cool stuff. So I'll probably link it in the description in case you want to find that. Starting off, I think one of the things that I did originally that really stressed me out pre-ArtFight is attempt to make character refs full body of all of my characters. And I mean the full-on thing. And I found out pretty quickly that was going to really stress me out, especially since I only start prepping maybe 2 weeks before ArtFight begins. But I found that it's a lot easier to make a flat chibi version, I guess, of your character's clothing and whatever without shading, and then upload some other images of your characters, because you can upload more than one image of your character. And I think keeping that in mind has made it so much easier, because then I'm not cramming to make a whole bunch of detailed character references for your character. So what I've come to do is I put a little bust up of my character along with a couple other ones with my character from different angles, just already created artwork that I have lying around. And then I have a smaller sketch-ish of what their clothes look like from the body down. And I think that's made doing ArtFight a lot easier in terms of prep. It keeps it easier for me to consistently make new characters for ArtFight. So utilize the fact that you can add more than one image to your ArtFight character. And yeah, don't stress yourself out if you're going to be adding a lot of characters this year, really. In general. One of the things that I realized that some people were recommending, at least I've heard it a couple times on Art Talk, that I don't think you should do, is start your attacks yet. Don't do that. ArtFight as an event, one of the things that makes it really special is how it's confined to specifically that month and working within, the time limit that you have. While it's not also just bad sportsmanship, it's also against the rules, and it could very easily get you in a little bit of trouble if you do end up doing all of your ArtFight stuff early. So, as much as I know people can get excited and want to do ArtFight early, focus all of that energy into maybe doing your ArtFight references or, your actual ArtFight profile itself. Don't do your attacks early. Don't start sketches, don't do anything. And yeah, redirect that into your actual ArtFight preparation. One of the things that you should also do instead is just bookmark a bunch of characters. And I think one of the things you also might want to do too is keep all of those saved on a separate thing, like a Google document or wherever you log your stuff. I remember there's been a couple times where the first week of ArtFight, the site is just down. And while that's been fixed, I think, very recently, and I haven't had any trouble with that the past 2 years, you never know. What you're going to want to save is the link, the actual image of the character, the ID, and the creator. So that way you can still work on your ArtFight sketches and attacks while the site is still down. So, just make a document and put the links in there and whatever you're going to need, along with just bookmarking characters in general. That's made it a lot easier for me. I've done that a couple times. I think it was one of the first years that I started doing ArtFight. That kind of happened and I was just stuck. And that wasn't a great time. So, don't make that mistake. This is the last thing. And I really, really wish I did it earlier because it's made such a difference in how I do ArtFight. Because I think the first few times I participated, it was very slow, and the only way that I was actually like getting attacks was likely through the random character thing or just character search. It was basically by chance. But I think one of the ways that you can easily alleviate that is making posts about your ArtFight account. I did this for the first time. It was the year that we did Vampires vs. Werewolves. That's the first time I really did that. Made an ArtFight post going, hey, mutual me, I'll mutual you, whatever. And that changed the game for me, and it gave me more attacks that year. And then I was able to revenge a lot more, and that was a ton of fun. Stressful, yeah, but it was a lot of fun exchanging back and forth instead of, sitting and waiting for someone to attack me and just hope that they stumble upon my character or my profile. Network. Wherever your ArtFight account is. I've posted about it on TikTok. I've gotten a few follows just through making videos and putting my ArtFight in the description of my videos. So just plug in your ArtFight account when you can. I think having all of those connections in advance really does make a difference once the events begin. And just make ArtFight friends in general. I think they're really fun. I've met a lot of really cool people through ArtFight, and I think the more important thing, or at least the most important thing, as I said in the first part of this video, don't stress yourself out. Because there's been a couple times where I was rapidly ArtFight prepping because I was like, oh shoot, I got a week, I have to do all of this, I have so many characters I need to do stuff for. And then when the actual event began, I was completely burned out, could not do anything for the first few days, and it sucked. So keep in mind, I guess, your scheduling. Do a slow build-up, I think, of your characters. If you're not a time cruncher or good under stress, don't wait till the last minute, and just post a few characters. It doesn't have to be all of them immediately. I think as long as you have a good batch of characters, that's going to be fine. Put the characters that you're really, really passionate about first, I think. And with that, that's all of my ArtFight advice for pre-event preparation, really. I'm sure I'm going to be doing another one of these for once the actual event begins, or when it gets closer, maybe a couple weeks before, just for beginners and what to expect. So yeah. I'd love to make more ArtFight mutuals. I love following people on there. So, if you want to put in your ArtFight and just plug in your stuff, my comment section's free reins to do that. Go ahead. And yeah, again, I have a bunch of personalization stuff, in my description too, if you want that. That's all.